Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Witty's Gear Review. Today I wanted to go ahead and go over this light that I got off of Amazon. I've seen a lot of reviews on it, but I didn't know 100% myself if it was going to be worth it. So this is a Wuben G5 Easy Carry Light, or ECL. This one says that it's in 400 lumens. So let's go ahead and open it. I've already opened the box. I've pulled it out just to charge it, to make sure it had a charge for this video. But it comes in a nice little flip open box. It has your illumination, minutes and hours on the back. So that's the first look at the Wuben G5. I'm going to tell you, I think it's a really cool little light, just first impressions. I mean, it feels like it's made well. I like the styling on it. I mean, it really looks like a Zippo lighter. And it actually feels in hand like a Zippo lighter. It's like, it feels like you should be striking there. Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, being as small as a Zippo lighter isn't bad for a 400 lumen flashlight. The whole body's made out of solid aluminum. There are a couple plastic pieces. The clip's metal. The wheel's metal. There's a little bit of rubber or plastic here over top of this magnet. Other than that, the little slide here. Other than that, the rest of it's aluminum. The big things I like about this Wuben: 1, the styling; 2, it's super lightweight; 3 is the 180-degree pivot head. You can pivot all the way to the back, so no matter which way you carry it. So that's a real cool feature. The next thing is this scroll wheel. So instead of, when you usually get a flashlight, you're going to have so many different modes, right? And you're going to press a button once for this, twice for that, 3 times for this. A lot of lights nowadays are like that. You have to cycle through the main button, so many times. I've seen some where you're actually like 2 fast clicks, 1 long press to get to a function.
That don't make sense.
That seems a little complicated. I would figure out what I needed, and I would only know those things and how to get to them on that light if they weren't too complicated. This has this wheel. Once you get to whatever selection or whatever area you want, whether it's main light or RGB, which this does have an RGB LED on it, you just scroll through the wheel and it'll cycle through the different functions of that function that you're on. I guess through the different colors or the different intensities of the function that you're on. Another thing that I thought was pretty cool, when I first got it, pulled it out, I'm like, that's a horrible place, and that's not a lot of pressure for a belt clip, or a clip in general. I didn't realize that was so you can pull it out and slide it to the back. Now it's totally different. Now it's got some leverage on there. Or you can put some leverage on there. But to move it, slide it out again, push it over. You can pull it, slide it out again, and now you're on to this side. So I think that's a cool little feature. Like I said, to move it over, you have to slide the whole thing out, turn it, and you're there. Pull it, turn it, and you're there. So pretty quick and simple. Let's go ahead and jump into what this thing looks like. But I just wanted to give you a close-up view of all sides so you can kind of see what you're dealing with here. Has a little place for a lanyard. Also, I wanted to mention that they're saying that this thing is IP68 waterproof rated, so that's another positive thing. But man, I like how you could just stick this on your ball cap, right? If you put that on the bill of your ball cap, you can angle that light down at your work. You're not moving your head around to find out where your light pattern is. You can kind of just tilt that head just enough up or just enough down to get exactly where you need it. Especially for if you're carrying it on a chest rig or something like that, you can hook your clamp, your clip to the chest rig, and you can turn it forward and go to town. I also think it'd be great. The reason I got it is chest rig slash for one of the carrying straps on my EDC bag. That way I could just put it on the front. I don't have anything in my hands. I have several modes I can use. And it's quick access. If I wanted to pull it off, throw it on my hat to have a headlamp, I've got that capability. So let's get into the functions of this little light. So I know that if you press, it'll come on whatever you had last. Oh, that's we might want to look at that. So on the back, you're gonna have lock, light, and then charge. So if you're in the lock position, I could press on this button, and it's not doing anything, right? So that's a good feature. If you have this in your, if you have an EDC carry bag, pouch, sling, and you want to throw this in there, you should be pretty comfortable knowing that it's not going to come on its own. If you have it in a pocket, in the front pocket, side pocket of a backpack, if it's in your wife's purse, glove box of your car, and you're you somewhere where you would get inside of and move stuff around, it's not going to come on. You have to literally make sure that you're in the light position. Then it can come on, and then if you go to the next one, that just gives you your USB-C charging port. The middle is where we want to be, which is on, and we're just gonna single press, and then we have our basic white light, right? And if you roll this wheel, you can adjust the intensity. Now when it blinks, that means it's as bright as it can be, and you can feel clicks, so it kind of lets you know that you are that it is sensing what you're doing. It's like little clicks to your finger, so you know, all right, I went from one light intensity to the other, all the way down, and then it blinks to let you know that you're at the lowest. So from what I'm understanding is the lowest setting on this thing is like 10 lumens. Or no, it's 2 lumens. So it goes from 2 lumens all the way up to 400. So right there, you're at 2 lumens. And then you just roll your wheel, and you get all the way up to 400 lumens. If you long press this button again, you go into your RGBs, which that one's on red, and you can cycle through every different color. Which is pretty cool. I like the function to be able to go through and have a different look on things. I was trying to do it without blinding y'all. But you can kind of see the different colors. It's got purple, it's got white or yellow, it's got green, blue. So it functions through, it goes through, your typical RGB lights. And then from this area, you can press the button and go into the beacon mode. And you can scroll that beacon mode. Or no, you actually have to go onto the light. That's right. So we're on green. If I swap it to purple, then I can go in the beacon mode on purple. Press it again, turn back, it'll start on purple. It'll always come back on to the last thing you were on. Now we're on red. Now we're on beacon mode on red. Then one press, it's off. Long press from there, it goes into flashing mode. And on the flashing mode, you can see that, you know, it's basically the cop features, but right now it's blinking red and yellow, I believe. Now it's red and green. And then you can change it to red and blue. So you can change that into multiple colors if you needed it, right? Whatever you prefer. But it's just neat that it has a functionality. So if you double press from off, it'll go straight into the alternating flashing lights. One press brings you to your RGBs. Then you can rotate and go through the colors. One press again. From there, long press. That's going to get you back to your light. And like I said, from your light mode, if you go all the way down to the lowest setting, if you double click this, like if you're on low, 2 lumens, that's automatically, just by pressing it twice, it's automatically going to take you to your highest mode. So all in all, you know, with the mode features, the way this thing's built, I'm pretty impressed, guys. Waterproof, light, durable, cool functions. Seems like it would fit in so many applications, and you know, it just seems like that would be the light you would want, is a small light. I'm not saying, I'm talking this is your secondary light, not your primary light. If you want 3,000, 12,000 lumens, you're going to need a lot brighter light for that. But, you know, for EDC, especially like a urban environment EDC, this is a cool little light. So if you were, if you were to use this light in the different light functions, right? So if you're in your high setting of 400 lumens, you got about 50 minutes of runtime, which is pretty good. And then if you're in the lowest setting, if you're just on the white light, 2 lumens, you've got about 65 hours at 2 lumens. So, you know, in a survival situation, if you conserve your lighting, only use what you need and as bright as you need it, you know, this thing could be around for a while. Then if you go to just the RGB lights, just one color, you know, on at all times, one color on at all times, that's about a 10 lumen light, and you got about 9 hours. If you go to the blue, red and blue flashing, 25 hours. If you go to the green and red flashing, 25 hours. And then they also have yellow and green, or red and yellow flashing, which is also 25 hours. But if you go into the beacon mode, and that's what I think is impressive and it's good to know, where you just have one solid color flashing, which is here, right? We hit that twice, and we start it flashing. That is what they consider the beacon mode. It could sustain this blinking at 10 lumens for 45 hours. So if you were lost, you would have 45 hours that this thing could sit there and constantly blink to notify people of your location. So just a good thing to know. That might help make up somebody's mind on if they want this light. I think for the $20 that I paid for it off of Amazon, it is probably one of the best things that I paid $20 or less for. In my mind, for a flashlight that has all these functions, that is super budget friendly. So what do you guys think? Have you seen the Wuben G5s? I know they have others, the X2, so on and so forth. The G5 is their newer one. It's just a small little pocket. Look, we'll show some pictures at the end, but I mean, that's a lighter. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm impressed for what the little light does. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have one? If you have one, how's it holding up? What have you found out different about uses on this light than what I don't know? Because I haven't tested it yet. Give me your thought process, guys. Like always, do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Click all notifications. Share this with your friends. Tell them, I mean, really, for a $20 light, I don't think you could go wrong with the functions. I'd give it a shot. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Love y'all. See you on the next one.